Welcome to Bastard Quest. I'm the Game Bastard Kyle.
I'm Todd.
I am Corey.
Austin.
We're playing Brindlewood Bay. This is the third episode. If you're just joining Bastard Quest for the first time, go back to start Brindlewood Bay. It's a great game from the Gauntlet and Jason Cordova. We're enjoying it a lot. Todd, who's your character?
My character is Lurleen Kitten Ivy. She goes by Kitten. That's what she prefers.
Alrighty.
She likes spoons.
Corey, who are you playing?
Splinda Ham.
Do the voice.
You mean the Benny Gesserit voice?
Yeah. The voice.
Give me the spoon. Pass me the milk.
It's really useful in a dining setting.
Yeah.
We could actually do that because, like, that happened a lot back in the 70s and everything. It was like, this week, the part of Splinda Ham will be played by, and it was a totally different person. You know, it would just show up and...
Mickey Rooney.
Yeah.
Austin?
Well, I'm playing Birdie Ruth Raven, the bingo gambler with a love for antiques.
The moon is high over Brindlewood Bay. The stink of cod and haddock spoils the fish market. You stand beneath a streetlight. The orange orb that the light casts down, silhouetting someone bowled by spoons that you've just captured. They're facing away from you you haven't yet seen, and then they turn, and it is Captain Robert Lee Walker III, a.k.a. Curly, the captain of the Krause's yacht. Hi, he says.
Ahoy, Captain.
I was just visiting the market late at night for some mackerel.
It's me, Splinda. You may not recognize me. So she pulled a tit out.
Oh, I see you. I recognize you now. I'll just be going. And he's trying to detach the spoon bowler from around his legs.
No, I don't think you will. What have you been doing here?
It's a public place.
With no one else around but somebody watching our fucking meetings.
So Emily Krause comes up from behind you. This is the youngest Krause daughter who'd been giving you some discreet information. She points at him. You were following me. I was doing no such thing. And she and Captain Curly fall into argument about whether or not he was following her.
I don't mean to be Budinsky, but if you could just untangle that bowl and hand me them spoons back, please, I'd appreciate it.
Birdie's going to pull a meddling move.
Okay.
Being a bingo connoisseur, she's very familiar with pickpocketing people.
Okay. All right.
Oh, you must know Pol Pot.
She does quick swaps all the time with the ladies who are running a better sheet than she is.
So what is she trying to pickpocket? Some clue or something?
Yeah, whatever pocket she's got access to, she's just going to kind of rifle through it and see if she can't pull out any kind of clue as to why he's here.
Give me all your G's.
And honestly, Kyle, with this being a little bit risky, would this be a night move instead of a meddling move?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking over. So meddling move, I see more of a meddling move is generally like if you were questioning someone or if I think you could do it to search them if you already had them. He was knocked down, but he's definitely not, at your mercy.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, of course, we're little old ladies.
So I think this would be a night move if you want to try to forcibly rifle through his pockets.
Okay.
And what's the thing you fear most of this going wrong?
He's got syringes in his pocket.
Yeah.
Let's see. I guess the thing I fear most would be that I don't find anything in his pockets, and with me rifling around in his pockets, now he thinks that instead of Splinda, I am the one who is interested in him.
Well, that's definitely not awful enough. Yeah, obviously you won't find anything, but he's going to push you and you're going to break a hip.
Oh, okay.
Damn.
Because he's going to get away from me, little old woman. Busybody, and you're going to stumble into a fish stall and fall and break a hip. And you don't have your life alert bracelet on.
Oh. I've had many hip surgeries, not replacements, but enhancements.
Completely swivel. Just like a chair. All right, Austin, what ability do you think applies here?
So I'm going to use composure.
All right.
In order to kind of keep my cool and be nonchalant. As he argues with Emily and is distracted, kind of using that to my advantage to
just clandestinely
see if he's got any clues on him.
Strip him naked.
So I rolled a 6, total of 6.
So that's a total failure.
It is. I'm going to use a crown.
Oh, the coward's way out, I see.
Yeah, so I'm going to use the crown, a scene in the present day showing a burgeoning romance.
This should be good.
So in the early days of Birdie's crime-fighting career, before she met these other two ladies, she had just met and become friends with Robin Masterson, the author of the Amanda Delacour Gold Crown Mysteries novels. and was just getting involved in trying to solve crimes. And one day was surveying the crime scene of a horrible massacre. And when she leans down to pick up a severed hand off the ground,
Jesus.
accidentally laid her hand upon the gnarled old hand of an old man
Who was also there?
who was
or-
also going for the same severed hand.
I see. Okay, so he wasn't dead.
No, no, this was another investigator, probably an actual policeman.
That reminds me of how I met Ken Kesey.
And they looked up into each other's eyes, and they'd never forgotten that moment, even though she chose that moment to pickpocket his wallet. And from that moment, she kind of learned the kind of skills that she has. So, yeah, I'm upgrading that to a success with a complication.
You only blow out a knee. ACL.
So I'm going to say, so you start patting down the captain, Robert Lee Walker III, a.k.a. Curly, reaching into his pockets, and he, of course, immediately, whoa, hey, what are you doing?
Hold still, Sonny.
And he's grabbing your hands, pushing you back. The spoon bolo snaps. The chain links go everywhere. And you draw something out of his pocket. He pushes you away, and he runs into the darkness.
Well, that was rude.
And you are holding a cod with a rat stuffed in its mouth, wrapped in newspaper.
I did.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. A clue. All right, so I guess that was kind of a waste of time.
No, this is a clue.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh,
This
okay.
is from the clue list.
Okay.
This reminds me of the time I lost my shit in an opium den with Spiro Agnew.
Emily goes pale, and she says, I gotta go, and she runs away.
Wait, what is this like a death warning or something? Hey, come back.
In the darkness of the night, you hear the caw of a raven.
Well, that means it's time to go home for the evening.
You each head to your homes. What is your nightly ritual after you get back from a big investigation?
Kitten is just distraught over not having any spoons. So she is going to walk home with Birdie.
Yeah, why don't we have a look at some of my antiques? I think we either got something we can find or maybe something that can help you.
Well, I hope so. I mean, I hope you have something that's spoon-like at least until tomorrow morning when the souvenir shop opens down on the bay.
Well, I don't think I have any spoons, but take a look at this blacksmith kit I bought.
It's just an anvil and a hammer, like a full blacksmith shop in her house.
Okay, well here, you take this cast and you keep this bellows blowing on the bonfire, and I'm gonna heat up this metal and we're gonna make you some new spoons.
There's a hirsute bearded dwarf in the corner, shirtless. I came with the kit. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I imagine Birdie putting on like a leather apron and
Sure.
gloves.
Picture her like doing that flick of her head and like knocking down this welding mask, and
Sparks are falling from the ceiling inexplicably.
looks like a White Snake video essentially.
Real quick, before you get started making me those spoons, which I very much appreciate.
Yeah, honey.
You're the best friend in the world, Miss Birdie. I was just wondering if, like, the top of the spoon opposite the spoon end, if you could make those into razor sharp knives.
Jesus.
Spoon knives, essentially.
So you're teaching Kitten the riddle of steel right now? Is that what's happening?
Well, I'm looking through my cast. I've got okay, that's not going to work. I've got,
Just file them down into a point.
let's see, I got sporks. Would that work?
Beggars can't be choosers. You just do your thing. I'll be over here with the bellows.
Okay. Yeah, you keep that fire hot.
Birdie takes a big stone spork mold from one of the shelves.
Oh, I love the smell of hot metal at midnight.
In an age before the oceans drank Atlantis
These are the days of old adventures.
and arthritis cream. So you guys blacksmith some spoons.
Yeah.
Some sporks. I guess that will be sufficient to remove your condition, Todd.
I should say so.
Even though it's ridiculous. There is a noise complaint the next day.
Probably all the clanging.
It's the clanging.
Linda, you keep your mouth shut.
Sheriff Pemberley comes by.
Okay, so this pair of spoons, Kitten is going to name them Shields and Yarnell. They were a husband and wife mime team who had a short-lived TV variety show back in the 70s.
Jesus Christ.
And she's doing this because these spoons are going to be silent killers.
I see.
What the fuck is going on? Is that real?
Yeah, you Google it. Shields and Yarnell.
Oh, I'm not going to put that in my algorithm.
I'm good.
I'm not putting that paint upon my house. What the hell? Shields. A short-lived mime show. I should think so. I should think so. So was the career of the moron that greenlit that.
No, I had a long career after that.
So the next day, after sleeping in, because the two of you were up all night smelting, you meet back up at your third-story Murder Maven Mystery clubhouse to decide on your next move in this investigation. When you get there, the sheriff, not surprisingly, is waiting for you.
Well, actually, Splinda passed peacefully in the night. Clutching a photo of Robert Wagner.
So Sheriff Dalrymple is there, and he's, look, I've heard a number of complaints. I told you, don't go past yourselves off as police officers. And Splinda, you pulled a gun on a man again. Where did you even... Wait a minute. Where's my gun?
You never had a gun. She waves her hand in front of his face.
You don't have Jedi mind power, Splinda. Give him my damn gun back.
Wait, never mind about that gun. Listen, Sheriff Dallywhopper, we are onto something here. Look at this. Look at this. And she waves the floppy cod with the rat stuffed in its mouth in his face. Somebody tried to deliver this warning to Emily, one of the daughters of Albert Krause, last night, just for trying to tell us something. Somebody's out there and they don't want us to know nothing.
It was the captain of the yacht who was delivering the rat-stuffed cod.
Yeah, but he works for somebody, right?
The dead guy.
Yep.
Yes, he's a paid employee of the Krauses, I guess.
Yeah, he works for the whole family. So we know somebody in the family doesn't want us to know something. The plot thickens.
Okay.
This has morphed into a completely different character.
He opens Splinda's purse and is taking his gun back.
God, what else does he find in there?
Other guns. Where did all these come from?
Is this one of Elvis's?
He gives you the standard speech you've heard 1,000 times, how to stay on the case, don't pull any more maverick bullshit, or you're going to be off the case. And then he's like, but also I need you, because I'm not very smart. And then he leaves. He forgot his gun.
Nice.
All right, so what's our next move, ladies?
You've investigated the yacht. You've questioned the butler and Emily. Well, you also questioned all the kids over brunch, right?
I don't think we talked to the son.
Well, he was in the scene. I don't think he... Yeah, no, you
he's
didn't
just
really...
worthless.
Yeah, he's just worthless. But you have talked to them, but yeah, you didn't really get any clues or anything from them. You've seen Allison, the mother. She was looted up.
Yeah, we haven't spoke with her, though.
Yeah.
No.
Ladies, I think we need to talk to Miss Allison. I really kind of dropped the ball on something. I went through her rooms and stuff, but she was out cold with this little bottle of Ludes I've got here in my cozy place now. She might know more than she's letting on.
This reminds me of when I used to romp with Jack Ruby. Well, I guess we'd look for Allison where we saw her last at the yacht.
Yeah, so we need to see if it's out today.
She was on the Krause family yacht, the Regal Lady. You head to the marina, and it is still docked there. You hear people murmuring, walking around, feeding the birds. Apparently, the Krauses tried to leave early this morning, but the sheriff got a restraining order.
Ooh. He did something.
Yeah, or
Nice.
he got an order from the judge ordering them to remain in town until the investigation was complete.
Ah.
And there's police tape on the ties connecting the boat to the dock.
Well, ladies, what do you think we should do to get on this Regal Beagle boat?
I think maybe we could dangle the restraining order in front of them. We could say, hey, you can go out to sea if you want to, but we've got to be on board.
I think that's a terrible idea. Well, perhaps going out to sea with a potential killer? I mean, I don't know. I like to live dangerously, Birdie, but that just sounds dumb.
Well, I was kind of thinking we might check out the place where the boat was anchored when Mr. Krause went over the rails.
Are you going to scuba dive?
I've thought about it.
You could do that. We should probably use a different boat, but you could definitely do that.
That sounds like a good idea. We can go out and dust the water for fingerprints.
Yes, Splinda. Well, while you're handling that, I'm about 2/3 of the way through a scuba course with my buddy Steve that works alongside the marina over there. And I think I can get him to give me an aqualung to get out there and go ahead and just have a look-see.
Okay.
Okay, so you're going to go scuba diving at Oblivion Point, where the body was found and the yacht was anchored.
Okay.
Quick question: can we take sea-doos out there?
Sure. No, you have to get on a fishing boat. You're old ladies, and an old fisherman's going to take you out. I'd take you out.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Bunch of
go.
young fillies like yourselves.
Ooh,
Get on my
charmed.
boat. And in my boat. So you meet Mr. Etienne Beauregard.
This is obviously a friend of Splenda's.
Hello.
He has a legit lobster boat, but he's retired. He doesn't go out looking for lobster or fish or anything anymore. He just takes tourists out to go swimming and look at the sights around Brindlewood Bay. I'll take you out on the water, though, to Oblivion Point, where from no man returns. Because, well, except for after 2 hours, because that's how long the tour lasts.
Yeah, okay.
So the boat putters out into the marina, and you go out of the bay and around the coast of Massachusetts to Oblivion Point, which is just a peninsula with a nice scenic shoreline on the Atlantic coast. And he takes you, obviously you can't get to the exact spot. Nobody knows exactly where they were anchored. But he gets you pretty close. It's right around here. Yeah, I did see the boat. It was all anchored up there. I've known the crisis for many years. I sold them lots of fish and some lobsters and some other things.
You ever catch any rat-mouth bass?
I don't know what that is. That sounds like something.
Oh.
Is that like a make-out request?
It can be. How much you got on you?
I got 2 flounder in the ice box.
Sold American.
So you are anchored off Oblivion Point, and you just think, man, lots of things are named ominously around Brindlewood Bay. Anyway, it looks much like the rest of the coast that you've seen. You don't notice anything obviously out of the ordinary.
The local pub is called the Slashed Throat.
Right next to Innocent Man Graveyard.
Well, let's go get breakfast at the Choke and Puke.
This reminds me of when I was at the Bay of Pigs invasion. Castro put me in charge of the pork loins.
Of course, she was on the other side. Yeah. All right. So, are you going to go scuba diving off Oblivion Point?
Yeah, Birdie comes tromping out in one of those old-fashioned underwater welder suits, like looking like Big Daddy from BioShock.
Yeah. And diving lung.
Yeah, the Steve that she takes scuba lessons from is from like the 40s.
Oh, damn it! I didn't know we was going to do some looking for U-boats.
Well, this is what I know how to use, so this is how I'm going to do it.
Birdie, if you find any spoons down there, would you please bring those back up for me? I appreciate it. Thank you.
I will absolutely look for some. I'm not going to promise that I've got enough workable digits to grab them down there in this thing, but I'll see what I see.
I've been saving up money, and hopefully someday we will have the technology for me to go down in some sort of small submarine to the Titanic so I can collect all the spoons off of that.
Yeah, maybe it can be controlled with like a PlayStation controller.
James Brolin.
All right. Yeah, I don't know what that means, but it's erotic.
Hello.
So, with this old bronze diving suit with the mesh cover over the face and the hose that just attaches it to the ship.
Etienne just pushes you over the side.
Okay.
That's how I know to get in the water.
That's how you have to dive in those suits.
Yeah.
I'm essentially the anchor for this boat now.
Birdie just sinks to the bottom. And you can do your meddling move.
All right.
No, really, this is more of a day move. This is definitely risky because of drowning.
Gotcha.
Birdie goes into suit. Suit goes into water. Clue's in the water. Our clue.
Check for semen while you're down there.
So I'm going to say this is just to find like what you think might be a site to look for. I don't know.
Yeah, what makes basically I'm looking for what makes this site significant if there was anything deliberate about Albert Krauntz's death.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to use reason. Oh, I rolled a 12.
Nice. Turns out he was allergic to water.
You immediately notice that this is very shallow compared to the rest, other areas along the coast. I mean, anybody that just fell in the water should have been able to at least, kick off the bottom to push back to the top pretty easily. So it'd actually be more difficult to drown here than other places.
Birdie just stands up.
Yeah, you're not far from shore.
I actually didn't even have to scuba dive.
And you find in the water, not yet rusted or corroded, a small handgun that might easily fit in a purse.
Dibs!
And I'm assuming this gun would also have a butt the size that would fit perfectly on Albert
forehead.
Krause's wound.
It does perfectly match your clue finding spoon. But this takes all day. Birdie is down for a long time scouring the seabed for, you're all convinced, nothing until she comes up with a gun, waving it dangerously in the air. Put that down!
All right, now nobody touch this. We got to see if any prints are preserved on it.
That's been in seawater for at least a couple days. I'm guessing there might not be no more prints on that.
Yeah, I don't hold out a lot of hope, but
Crab probably pooped on it.
well. So what kind of handgun is it, Kyle?
It's just a small snub-nosed revolver.
Okay, because Birdie would know from the endless number of crime novels that she's written that there might not be fingerprints on the outside of it, but there might be on the internal components, like the bullets before they were shoved into the chamber.
You can attempt a meddling move to go to your house and set up an impromptu crime lab next to your blacksmith shop.
Yep. And it is the 80s, so it will take 6 weeks to get the results
Sure.
back.
You got to send it to DC, the FBI lab.
All right.
Do we want to even mess with prints on the gun? Why don't we take the gun to the yacht, and see how Allison and they react to it?
When it's pointed at them.
Probably poorly.
I mean, that's an option. I like that, too. We could just look for prints if we don't wind up getting anything useful from them.
I mean, we could also wait a dozen years for DNA technology to catch up.
That's true.
yeah.
The long game.
Just chill.
Yeah.
2 out of 3 of you will be dead by then.
Well.
But
And it won't be Splinda.
I'm pretty sure Splinda's a Highlander.
Well, I say before we head home to look for prints or anything like that, we go back to the yacht and see if we can get on and speak to Allison.
So the 3 of you head back to the marina, puttering on Etienne's boat. He docks, you get off, and you can see across the water at the marina restaurant, again, you see the Krause children having dinner. It's not evening yet, but it is late afternoon. You see no sign of Captain Curley. There appears to be no one obviously on the deck of the Regal Lady.
Okay, so they're in the restaurant.
The kids are. You can
Okay.
see them. They've been eating there frequently, so you're not surprised to see them over there.
So we could just walk on the boat.
Sure.
There's nobody around, so.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
they can. You look over, and Splinda's in a frogman suit with suction cups going up the side of the boat.
And so you all board the Regal Lady. It's swaying gently in the waves of the bay. You can hear the crowd eating in the restaurant, but other than the creaking of the lines and the gentle slapping of the waves on the hull, there's no other sound aboard the yacht.
All right. Well, ladies, last time I saw Miss Allison, she was asleep in her quarters. We'll probably find her there again.
Kitten walks up to the door of Allison's quarters and housekeeping.
A very confused woman opens the door. It is Allison Krause, who you'd earlier the day before seen, comatose. She's an older woman, not as old as any of you, but upper middle-aged, opens the door. Oh, finally the help arrived. I don't know how you knew we needed you, but welcome. Everything's a wreck. I'm a wreck. Just start in my room and then work your way through the rest of the boat. I'll be around if you need me, but dear, don't need me.
If she's given us full access to everything, I guess we could look around for clues, more
Yep.
clues.
Yeah, some of us can look around for clues. Who wants to try and have a conversation with her?
Splinda will chat with her.
Okay.
All right. So she goes up to the galley, and you can see a dinner has been plated out for her. You're not sure who did that, but presumably it's been waiting there for a moment. So she starts giving Splinda orders to fetch this, salt, pepper, wine, and assuming she's part of the help.
It's good you're eating, dear. When you're bereaved, you can forget such things.
She looks at you blankly for a moment. Oh, yes. The dog died while we were gone.
You married a dog?
Oh, right. My husband.
Yes.
He also passed away.
I see.
Thank you for your condolences. And she sniffs and wipes out an eye. That does not have a tear in it.
I am happy to be of assistance to you, madame. There are many other things I could do to help you. Approximately 329,011 Does those numbers ring a bell? What I'm trying to do is I'm reciting
The numbers.
the
on
random
slip.
numbers on that piece of paper to see if she reacts.
Nice.
Oh, I see. I
Nice,
see what
Corey.
you're saying.
I like that a lot.
So she doesn't appear to know, but maybe she's just covering well. You can make a meddling move to try to get through her facade.
Okay. Can I use my composure here?
Sure.
Got a 2 in composure. That's a 13.
Oh, on a meddling move? So that's going to be, you also find a void clue, or you learn something about the dark conspiracy in Brindlewood Bay.
Cool.
She does flinch a bit when you mention those numbers, but tries to play it off.
And I noticed the pentagram tattoo on her forehead.
She has a ring on one of her fingers. Obviously, she has a wedding ring on, but she also has a different ring, which is a silver band inscribed with strange lettering, and it's very subtle, but it is obviously definitely out of place on a woman of this class.
It's a Cthulhu promise ring.
Yep.
And as far as me reciting the numbers, do I notice anything with that success?
She seemed to know what they were.
Okay.
Like, she recognized them, but obviously that doesn't tell you what they were, but...
Okay.
She just plays it up. Well, just the wine and gives you a few other instructions, but...
And how are the children holding up, my dear? Especially that lovely gal, Sarah.
Oh, the children are so strong. They're so resilient. Sarah's taking it very well.
They are all your children, correct?
Yes,
Are you sure about that?
I was there, so I feel confident that they came out of my body.
That makes sense. Yes, it's nice to have children, especially when they all have the same father, Sperm Man.
She chokes on her lettuce. She's coughing, hacking up bits of lettuce. What? She takes a drink to, wash it down. And says, I don't know what you mean. I definitely have never had repeated affairs with the servants.
Well, Sarah has such luscious curly hair.
Oh, not Captain Curly. He's new. Wait, why am I telling you this? Who are you?
Splinda.
I'm coming down off this high, and I don't remember hiring anyone.
Well, do you remember this, bitch? And she pulls out the gun that they found in the...
She shrieks and raises her hands. Oh, there's money downstairs in my room.
Okay, let's go get it.
She takes you down, and you go in, and Kitten is rifling through the place. Oh, another criminal! She takes you to a wall safe. She starts opening it. She's assuming she's being robbed at this point. She's shown no recognition of the gun.
Oh.
Ooh.
Okay, so now we're all in the same room together, correct?
Yep.
Allison is opening the safe.
Yeah.
I think it's time for a Gold Crown Mysteries move.
All right.
Yeah, let's do it.
This is the one we can only do once per mystery, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
all kind of work together to describe how this is like one of Amanda Delacourt's adventures.
Yep.
And then Todd we can apply it to a relevant role, or Todd could give Kyle basically a fact that Kyle then has to incorporate in the scene.
Kitten says, oh my gosh, y'all. This reminds me of something that happened to Amanda Betancourt in the case of the Moist Mistress.
Ooh.
What else happened in that?
It's one of my favorites.
Amanda was on a yacht with a woman that she suspected of being a murderer. She was forcing this person to open up a safe to get the evidence that would tie her to the murder.
And she lived, right? Everything was fine with the lady.
Yeah, she lived because that was only like the 10th book in the series, and there's like 35 books altogether. So she's still alive. She's still alive in our hearts and on the pages of her mysteries.
The lady that was being forced to open the safe, right? That's the one?
She's on death row.
Because it turns out it wasn't her, and Amanda found that by finding a clue in the safe. Y'all remember that one?
Oh, yeah, I remember. That's the one where there was this whole family involved, and nobody was telling Amanda Delacourt anything until they opened up this safe, and then it turned out that the victim they thought had been shot to death actually drowned.
And they found that note that said, I did it.
And then they let the hostage go, and everything was fine.
Oh, honey, we're not hostage takers. Put your hands down.
They let her go after torturing her for many days.
It's an eclectic sort of franchise, the Gold Crown Mysteries, ma'am.
It turns out Splinda is the originator of waterboarding. She consulted with the CIA.
It started out erotically.
But nobody was into it.
Yeah.
So, okay, Todd. So the safe is open. You look in. There is a couple of stacks of 20s jewelry that obviously probably belongs to Allison. And then there are a stack of receipts bound together and lots of extravagant purchases. Shoes, a suit, tailoring, bottles of wine at expensive restaurants. And they're over a period of time. And Allison is like, she doesn't know what these are. So she starts handing you guys the valuables, again, assuming she's being robbed.
Oh, honey, put that shit back and give us the receipts.
She hands you the receipts.
We're here to solve a murder.
Who was murdered?
Your dog.
Oh, Mr. Petrie. Oh, right, my husband. I forgot. I do a lot of drugs.
Tell me about it. I once did Tingle Toot with Kim Novak on the set of Vertigo. Tingle Toot is what we called the cocaine. Or as you may know it, yayo.
She's nodding. So, again, the receipts, lots of receipts, extravagant purchases, high living for places all over Boston and Massachusetts.
Are these your receipts?
I don't keep receipts. I don't know what those are.
Well, they're in your safe.
They're in Albert's safe. I keep some jewelry in here.
Does anything on these receipts look familiar that Albert perhaps bought for you as a gift?
So they're all men's clothing stores or restaurants. Nothing that would have been for a woman. And she's saying, well, it's very strange. I don't understand. None of these are places that Albert would go or shop at. He doesn't even do his own shopping. Andrew does all the shopping for him. And Albert was very boring. He never drank wine or liked to go out to eat expensive places.
Where is Andrew the butler now?
Well, I assume he's in his room here on the boat.
Probably grooming his lump.
What?
Yes, I don't know what that means, strange woman.
I don't know what it means either, but it's upsetting.
He's a eunuch.
He was covering the tab for him and Fat Belwas going out.
All right, so I think, do we have enough clues to put the whole mystery together?
I think so.
You could try to put the whole mystery together with one clue, but I think you do, if you wanted to try to theorize.
And now, honey, I just have one more question for you.
Yes?
We know that Sarah has a lot of expectation on her concerning the family fortune, but is it possible that she doesn't live here for right now? Perhaps somewhere 2 time zones to the west, like Colorado or Arizona?
Or South Dakota.
She recently traveled to Denver.
Okay, that's all we needed to know. Thank you.
Let's go to Andrew's house.
So you guys go to Andrew's room, which is on the deck below the one where the master bedroom is. It's a small room wedged in between the bilge and a bathroom. You knock and Andrew answers, "Hello."
Hey there, honey. We'd like to come in.
You can look inside and see that there's not a lot of room to squeeze in. This is a one-person closet converted into a butler's room.
That's okay. We live for being cozy. We're coming in.
You all, I assume also with Allison at gunpoint,
Yes.
crowd into Andrew's room.
Yes.
He ends up sitting on the small sink. You're all in there shoulder to shoulder. Allison is very confused. So is Andrew.
How is Andrew reacting to the sight of the gun in Splinda's hand?
Well, it's pressed against his forehead, so
He seems worried about it because it's a gun.
All right, so is it time for us to start theorizing?
Sure.
this is the final move then.
So is there anything else y'all want to do before we start?
Well, I'd like to have some disgusting sex, but there's no time for that.
Once we solve this mystery, Splinda, you just go nuts, girl.
All right, so first of all, are there any clues that anybody is particularly attached to or that you've based your theories off of?
The clues that stand out to me right now are the paternity test and the receipts.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the fact that those receipts were spent by a man, but not Albert.
Well, not necessarily.
Not necessarily they were for men's clothing, but
Yeah.
I mean, it could have been.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, good point.
And we now know, if she's being honest, that Allison is the father of all the children. So
She's the father?
oh, plot twist.
Strange family.
Yeah, but Allison is the mother of the 3 children, And the fact that she didn't recognize the gun and had no reaction to that, I mean, points to her innocence, I think.
Yeah.
Tell me, Andrew, does this gun look familiar to you?
He's kind of in shock at the whole situation, doesn't know really how to respond. It's a gun!
And what kind of suit are you wearing right now?
He tells you the kind of suit, some expensive design.
Oh, like this one? And I hold up a receipt for that suit.
He clasps his hand to his mouth.
Seems like an awfully expensive suit for a mere butler.
But I'm a very, very good butler, you see.
Perhaps you felt entitled to some of the nicer things, considering your relationship with Miss Allison.
I don't know what you're getting at.
Allison, you been banging this dude?
She looks at you. He's a eunuch.
Splinda points the gun at Andrew and says, "Drop your trousers."
So, guys, I can't
Yeah, we don't have to work it
give
out in-game.
convicting information until you tell me who you're actually accusing.
I don't think he's a eunuch at all.
I don't either.
I think he's a fake butler. You didn't go through the chundering.
Okay. So, out of character, who do you guys think is responsible?
So I think Andrew the butler did it.
Okay.
I believe that he had an affair with, and you guys correct me on like whatever clues you disagree with. But here's what I think. I think Andrew had an affair with Allison, and I believe Sarah is his daughter.
Yes.
Yes.
I think that he has just kind of helped himself to a lot of the Krause money because of his affair with Allison, hence the receipts. But I think he also has tried to, in secret, provide for Sarah. That's why Albert was arguing over the nice earrings with Sarah on deck.
Gonna disagree with you on that. I think Sarah is in cahoots because she was first in line for the inheritance. If they find out she's not the biological daughter, she could lose that. So she's in cahoots with Andrew.
Oh,
on
that's a
this.
great point.
Bingo. I think Corey just got it.
And they're into some weird shit with fish and rats.
I have an explanation for that.
Oh.
Yeah?
So I think Allison has been she doesn't know what's going on, but she's trying to keep it all tight to the family. And so she was trying to get Emily to stop talking to investigators and sent Captain Curly out there with that as a message.
But otherwise, Allison not involved in the murder.
Yeah.
We all agree on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So up to this point, everything went fine. But when they started getting calls from collection agencies because of how much of the money had been spent, Albert ordered a paternity test and discovered the truth. And when he confronted Sarah about it,
She threw an earring at him.
so do we want to ultimately lay the blame at Sarah or Albert or Andrew?
Here's my theory. I agree with everything that we've said so far, especially what Corey said. I think that Albert is Sarah's father, but I don't think Andrew killed Albert. I think Sarah killed her father.
I mean, that
Fake,
tracks.
fake father.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, that tracks. It's a small handgun, maybe ultimately one that could be concealed in a purse.
Andrew is Sarah's father. Sarah killed Albert.
Okay.
And I suspect Ralph Bellamy's involved. Never liked the cut of his jib.
So Dad Overboard is complexity 6, which means you can attempt to theorize once you have clues equal to at least half the complexity, which you have more than that. So you roll plus the number of clues incorporated into the theory or otherwise explained away, minus the mystery's complexity. So how many clues have you incorporated into the current theory that Sarah killed Albert because she is actually Andrew's daughter?
Honestly, I think all of them, not counting void clues. So let me go down the list here. The expensive watch that was set 2 hours late, I believe, belongs to Andrew. The reason I asked about Sarah living 2 time zones to the west was if Andrew was kind of secretly, keeping up with the daughter that turns out to be his, then maybe he kept his watch set to her time because of how frequently they communicated or something like that.
Well, that or Sarah could have bought it as a gift for her fake father.
While she was in Denver.
And
either one of those works.
to try to curry favor, but he found out about her heritage.
Yeah, that
before.
works too. The bruise being caused by the butt of a small pistol, that and the handgun both go together. The argument is the confrontation about the paternity.
The paternity test itself.
Uh-huh.
And the receipts.
and the slip of paper with the number sequence, that is the jotted down account number from which a lot of that money is missing. The repeated calls to the Krause estate from the collection agency is what first tipped Albert off. Sarah only wearing one earring is one of the topics of their argument on deck. The receipts, of course, were the evidence. The paternity test provided by Emily. So yeah, that's pretty much all of them.
How many clues is it in total?
That's 10 clues.
Okay, so there are 10 clues. So if I'm reading this right, so the roll is plus the number of clues incorporated into the theory or otherwise explained away minus complexity. So your roll would be at +4.
Okay.
Is that
Okay.
That's right?
What are we rolling for?
For the theorize, to see if this is correct.
What ability?
Reason, I'm sure.
Okay.
Do you guys want me to roll?
Never.
That's what I thought.
Corey, you want to roll?
Okay.
Yeah, you kind of had one of the main fulcrum conclusions.
Okay, I've got a 1 in reason.
And a +4 from the overall theory.
Okay, so +5 total. And does he have a penis, the butler?
He does.
I snatch away the fake lump that he had made.
Here's a prosthetic lump.
Just as I thought, silly putty.
And I would have got away for it too if it wasn't for you meddling old ladies. Which is different from that amusement park scam I had going a couple of years back.
Okay, +5. That's a 9.
So that is a correct solution, but the keeper will either add an unwelcome complication to the solution itself or present a complicated or dangerous opportunity to take down the culprit or save the day.
So we've already unmasked his penis.
While you were unmasking, none of you noticed immediately that the yacht was moving.
Oh, folks, I think Sarah's back on the boat.
And when Andrew finally says, yes, it was me, or rather it was Sarah, and I've been trying to cover up things for her, and it's unfortunate that you 3 meddling old ladies couldn't leave well enough alone. And you, Allison, I thought you knew to just keep your lewds up your butt and your mouth shut. And now I'm going to have to deal with all of you. Fortunately, Sarah, and he looks out the porthole, Austin, which is a hole in the side of a boat, should have us far enough out to sea. And you're out in the middle of Brindlewood Bay, headed towards the Atlantic.
Well, it's a good thing I'm still wearing my diver suit.
And I've got a gun.
Oh, I forgot about the gun. And he runs out the door trying to get away. Sarah, they've got guns. They've got your guns.
Splinda fires.
Kitten draws shields and throws it at Andrew's back.
Oh, yes.
So, I mean, this is Murder, She Wrote. You guys should definitely have to try to, get them to take them captive or stop. Like, I know we play role-playing games, and that the immediate solution is extreme violence.
Okay. Can we say we called the sheriff before we went over and he's actually been on the boat the entire time?
So, I'll say you can either crown, and that will just happen, or you could you could roll a day move.
Okay.
Does Splinda want to do a scene in the present day showing how she satisfies her physical desires?
I don't think we're rated for that.
Yes. Splinda will do a Crown of the Queen.
Okay.
The scene in present day showing how she satisfies her physical desires.
All right.
And it's not quite what you would think. She's had plenty of sex.
Sure.
It's actually more relaxing for Splinda to not be having sex. When she's at home, she's been working on this for many years. She's been making a quilt
Oh, she's a quilter.
out of pubes.
Okay. there it is.
It's a pube quilt. She's been collecting them from lovers for years.
I was wondering where it was going to go.
Yeah.
And it's like you're never prepared for it.
She's currently on the Truman Capote section.
That doesn't sound relaxing at all.
So Andrew storms up onto the deck. Sarah! And on the bridge of the ship, Sarah is handcuffed. And Sheriff Dalrymple's there. You're looking for something, Andrew? And he's got his gun. He's twirling around his finger. And it goes off. He's like, oh, shit! But he captures Andrew and Sarah. And the boat safely returns to Brindlewood Bay.
Yay.
All right, well, let's wrap this up. I got a meet to get to.
So there's the scene. The boat comes back. All the police cars, their lights are flashing. And they're putting Sarah into the back of a car. And Andrew's fighting. I didn't do anything. Technically, it was my daughter. Well, she might not even be my daughter. Allison gets all sorts of... And then, they shove him in a car. And Sheriff Dalrymple's, well, I got you old ladies to thank for this again. Another murder, Brindlewood Bay, on the books.
When am I going to get my spoon badge that you promised to me 5 years ago?
Never.
Damn.
Also, we have a lot of murders for a small town. I'm sure it won't end to escalate anything eldritch or horrible.
Yeah, speaking of escalating, there's one thing I never could quite get out of my mind, but never could find an explanation for, ladies.
Yes.
Splenda's hobby room?
Smells puby.
You remember when we were on the boat the first time, and I got a chance to look out and see the peninsula where the body was discovered? There were all these robed figures praying out where they'd found the body.
Oh, yeah, I do remember
It
that.
doesn't figure into this mystery at all, but I can't for the life of me figure out why they'd be doing that.
I just thought it was a bunch of fans of the rock band Dio.
I thought it was an eyes wide shut situation. I've been there many a time.
Cut to
Allison on the boat as it heads back out to sea towards Boston, and the strange ring on her finger, she turns it and she wonders, has her former sisterhood cursed her? Dun dun dun.
Ooh.
They did. It was a curse. that was what it was.
We cut to later that night. Splinda alone in her cozy little pad. Well, another murder solved. Back to my day job. She picks up a phone, dials it, clears her throat. Hey, this is the Great Kazoo!
And as Kitten returns to her home, she opens the front door, and hundreds of kazoos just come falling out in an avalanche.
She's been gone 3 days. It was just they pile up. She's now in debt, deeply in debt.
Splinda just counting cash.
Well, I like Brindlewood Bay quite a bit.
I like it a
awesome.
lot.
I
Yeah,
was
that's fun.
really impressed by how you guys tied everything together. I thought, man, I don't know how this is going. I didn't even think about Sarah having done it, honestly. Never occurred to me.
there was a big part of me that tied her and Andrew together very early on, but I had literally only thought about it from like the protective father standpoint, Corey. I did not think about it the way you did.
Awesome game.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It would be really fun to play completely out through the whole campaign.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, I'm sure we'll return to this at some point.
I suspect, yes.
Yeah,
we
it's a lot of
shall.
fun. With our format, we're going to move on to other games, but I could really see playing this and having a blast with an entire campaign of it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and from a GM perspective, it's really easy to run. I mean, all the mysteries, it's like 3 or 4 pages. There's not a ton of stuff you have to memorize.
Yeah, because as the GM, you can literally throw out just random shit as clues, and it's up to us to like tie all that shit together.
Yeah, and you
Yeah.
don't even have to mastermind like the overarching plot between all the mysteries. I mean, because
No.
even that will ultimately come down to us rolling to theorize.
We
Yeah.
really didn't even need you here.
No, I could have left.
You could have taken a couple weeks off.
That would have been great. That sounds awesome. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. We don't know exactly what we're going to play next, but it's going to be good, as always.
We got a handful of options.
We do. We're going to have to actually figure that out right now after this is over. But
But in the meantime, we're still giving away a couple books
Yeah.
on social media. You got another week for that. And we're giving away one on the Patreon as well to our patrons. So if you're interested in that, just share the post. Just follow the instructions on the post we made last week.
yeah, and we'll send you a copy of Brindlewood Bay.
Courtesy of Jason Cordova. Thank you.
Yeah, we're also going to send you a gun from a purse they found on the bottom of the Atlantic.
And a fake lump.
And a spoon. We would like to take this opportunity to thank Norse Foundry, norsefoundry.com. That's where you go if you want dice in all manners of colors and materials. They still have not fulfilled my request for spoon dice, but fingers crossed.
Yeah, one of their die sets, I won't say which one, it's made out of old people.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
But when you buy that one or any other one, make sure you input the promo code CHAM at checkout for 10% off. That's the official bastard discount.
And we would also like to thank our sponsor, Barrel and Bond, 100 Broadway Street in beautiful downtown Paducah, right there on the banks of Brindlewood Bay.
You know what? I went to a music show there the other night, and I discovered something about their bathrooms.
Oh?
Doesn't exist.
Well, you got to take a maternity test before you can go in.
And thank you for listening. Thanks to all our Patreon members. If you've reviewed us on social media or YouTube or wherever fine podcasts are sold, we appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thanks, I'm Kyle.
I'm Todd.
Corey.
Austin.